ninjas, welcome to Yoga with Jojo Cat. I'm Kat. I'm a brown belt and coach in Bang Muay Thai, a blue belt in in-fight Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I'm certified to teach yoga. I teach yoga in a martial arts gym, so my focus is really more on the practical side of things. I like to focus on strengthening and stretching the muscles and making sure the body is ready to perform in the next kickboxing or jiu-jitsu class. So if you're looking for a more spiritual or quieter meditative version of yoga, you're not going to find that with me, and that's okay, because there are so many amazing yoga channels out there that I encourage you to find what resonates with you. In today's video, we're going to focus on hamstrings and hip flexors, but we're going to kind of touch on all areas of the body. All right, let's get into it. So we're just going to begin in easy pose. So you can come onto your bum and just cross your legs. If this position isn't comfortable, you can also sit on your knees. Ground down evenly in your sit bones, have a nice straight spine, and you can just rest your hands on your knees for now. And we're gonna get some neck circles going. So you can just circle your neck, going in one direction and then the other. It's really important that we take care of our necks, especially those of us who do BJJ. Those just people are always going after the neck. So, like a couple days after you work on guillotines, really important you take care of your neck. Okay, we'll work on wrist circles next. So we'll circle in. And then out. Okay, we're gonna inhale our hands to the sky, and on our exhale, we're just gonna tip over to our right, letting our right hand fall to the floor and looking up over at our left arm. Just getting a nice stretch in the side body. Inhale back up to center and just tip over to the other side. Make sure you're taking some nice deep breaths on the stretch, using those exhales to soften those muscles that are stretching right now. You'll come back up to center, and we're just gonna get a little bit of movement, just tipping over, warming up the spine. Okay, you can come back to center. We're gonna move into a spinal twist next. So inhale those hands back to the sky, and on your exhale, you're just gonna turn, putting your left hand on your right knee and your right hand on the mat behind you. And you're just gonna look over your right shoulder. You can release that twist and come back to center. We're going to go to the other side. So inhale those hands up, and then on your exhale, twisting over, placing that right hand on the left knee and the left hand on the mat behind you. You'll notice that we link our movement to our breath, and it's going to help you with your movement, helping you get into a deeper bend, a deeper twist. Release that twist. We're just going to come into a tabletop position, and we're going to stretch out our feet and toes, which is really important for if you do some grappling sports and kickboxing. We use our feet a lot, especially those grapplers. We spend a lot of time with live toes, so it's really important that we make sure that our feet are stretched out as well. So we're just going to curl our toes and sit back on them. If this is too intense for you, you can come forward onto your knees and just press into them to the intensity that you can stand. Just stay here for a few breaths. right, let's come forward back into tabletop, stacking those wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and we're gonna go into a cat-cow flow. So as we inhale, we're gonna drop our belly, lifting our tailbone and our crown to the sky. And on our exhale, we're going to round our spine, tucking our chin to our chest, like a cat. Inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. You can just continue a few cycles at your own pace, using your breath as a guide, exhaling as you contract and inhaling as you expand. Cycle. Okay, now we're going to do some just organic movement. So I'm just going to get you guys to warm up your spine, get some circles in, move side to side. There's no reason to feel silly. It's just you and your mat, right? All right, we're going to go into baby cobra, so you can straighten your legs and come down onto your belly. We're gonna stack our elbows directly underneath our shoulders and lift our chest up off the mat, getting a nice back bend here. But we're also gonna get some gentle movement in here. So we're gonna inhale at center, and on our exhale, we'll just turn and look over our right shoulder. Inhale back to center. And exhale, looking over our left shoulder. And you can just continue at your own pace. One more cycle. You can come off your elbows and plant your palms, and we're just gonna press back into child's pose. So knees nice and wide, big toes touching, and you're just gonna melt your hips to the mat, extending your arms out in front of you, nice wide fingers, and we're just gonna rest our forehead to the mat. So in this pose, I'd like you to think about breathing deep into your belly. So often we just breathe into our chest, but it's helpful for us to use our belly muscles by taking nice deep breaths. To help us relieve that tension in any part of your body, softening those muscles. We're just going to lift up, and then we're just going to walk our hands over to the left and lay back down, getting a nice stretch in our right side. Probably also feeling a stretch in your shoulders as well. You can come back to center, but we're going to crawl over to the right side. Okay, come back to center. Okay, you can come up back into tabletop position, but we're going to put our hands out a little in front of us. Curl your toes, lift your tailbone to the sky for our first downward facing dog. So relax your neck. You shouldn't be like looking up at the screen. Just let your head fall between your biceps. And we'll get some motion in this first down dog, pedaling out our feet, turning our hips over, just making sure we're warmed up. Let's come to stillness, trying to melt our heels to the mat. If this pose is really tight, if your hamstrings are really tight, you can feel free to put a bend in your knees, just to put the focus of the stretch on your spine instead of your hamstring. Okay, inhale your right leg to the sky, and you're going to exhale as you bring it outside of your right hand. We're going to be in lizard pose here, so you can either stay like this with your knee lifted off the mat, or you can drop that knee and then flatten that foot out. This pose is pretty intense anyway, so it's up to you, it's your practice. You can intensify the stretch by going down to your elbows if you can. It's not my practice. I'm just gonna accept where I am right now and just work on it. Progression over perfection, as our friend James Welsh always says. If you want kind of a different stretch in your hips, you can change the angle of your hips. So you're just going to open up your hip by turning your foot over so that you're resting that foot on the side of it, and you'll see it opens up the hip to more of an angle instead of straight on. It's up to you, whatever you feel like working on today. In this pose, it can be pretty uncomfortable, so remember those nice deep belly breaths. Let's flatten that foot back out. If you are on your forearms, just come back up to your palms. You're going to curl your toes and lift your right knee up, and we'll ground into our right foot and just push off our left foot, and we're gonna sit down into Garland Pose. So it's like a nice low yogi squat here. So in this pose, my weight is in my heels, and I'm kind of using my elbows to deepen the stretch by pressing into my knees here. And I'm also making sure I'm keeping a nice straight spine. So you don't want to be rounding in this pose. Just try to straighten up as much as you can. Using that breath. I'm using it, I'm uncomfortable. Plant your hands on the floor, straighten your legs, and tiptoe your feet so they're about hip distance apart, and we'll just relax here in forward fold. So you can relax your neck, let your arms hang if you like, or if you prefer, you can tuck your hands into your elbows. And then we can just get some gentle movement in here, swaying back and forth. If you want to get some neck movement in too, you can nod your head yes, or shake your head no. Oh, I had a nice little crack there. Again, this is another position that can be intense on the hamstrings, so feel free to keep a little micro bend in your knee, in your knees. All right, we'll go through our flow. So let's plant our hands to the mat and step back into plank. I'm just gonna keep it here for a few breaths just so we can warm up that core. So in plank pose, if you find this to be really difficult, you can think about lifting your hips up if you need to. It makes the pose easier. Or if you like more of a challenge, sink your hips down. All right, let's shift forward a couple of inches. We're gonna lower ourselves 90 degrees into chaturanga. Flatten those toes. Inhale, upward facing dog. So my thighs are floating off the mat. My heels and my thighs are rotating in towards each other. And exhale, back into downward facing dog. All right, so we need a balanced body, so we're gonna go to the other side. Inhale your left leg to the sky, and exhale as you bring it outside of your left hand. Okay, drop that right knee, flatten those toes, and we'll just hang out here in lizard pose for a few breaths. Again, if you did that different angle variety on the other side, you can do that on this side as well. Coming onto the edge of your foot and turning your hip out at that angle. And if you were on your forearms on the other side, then go on your forearms this side as well. All right, if you're on the edge of your foot, just flatten it out. Curl your right toes, lift that right knee off your foot, ground into your right foot, and press off into Garland Pose. Plant your hands, straighten your legs, tiptoe those feet together about hip distance apart. And we'll just relax and forward fold here again. We'll go through our flow, so plant your hands to the mat, step back into plank. Shift forward a couple of inches, lower yourself, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice work. All right, we're just gonna come down onto our knees. We'll get a nice shoulder stretch in here. Stretching our shoulders, especially for kickboxers and we spend our time in our little shells, is really important. They're neglected a lot. I know mine are. Every time I see my massage therapist, she touches my shoulder, she's like, oh. I'm like, yep, I know. All right, so back into tabletop position. Make sure that your wrists are underneath your elbows, you're stacked correctly here. We'll inhale that right hand to the sky. And as we exhale, we're just gonna thread it underneath our left arm, resting our shoulder and our face on the mat. So there's a few things I can do from here. I can take my left hand here and just press into my shoulder to get a deeper stretch. I can rest it out in front of me like this, just to get a stretch in this shoulder as well. Or if I like, I can open that shoulder up and take a bind by wrapping my arm around my lower back. You can choose your own adventure. I think I'm gonna go in this pose for now. All right, we can come back up. We're gonna inhale that hand to the sky one more time and plant that hand back to the mat. We'll go to the other side. So inhale that left hand to the sky, exhaling as we tuck it underneath our right arm. And you can choose what you want to do on this side as well. Again, resting your hand here, using it here to push in, or taking that bind. You can come back up. We'll inhale that left hand to the sky one more time. And then come back down. All right, we're gonna sit on our bums. We'll just extend your arms out and we're just gonna lower ourselves to the mat, vertebrae by vertebrae. Nice and slow. Can bring our feet up close to our bums. We're just gonna take our right knee, hug it into our chest. Let's take this chance to get some ankle circles going here. Okay, and then I'm going to take my right ankle, cross it over my left knee. And I can either stay right here, pressing into my knee to get a deeper stretch in my hip flexors, or if I want to deepen the stretch, I can interlock my fingers behind my thigh and just pull my leg into me. Or if I want to go even further, I can go outside of my knee. I think I'll stay right here for today. This is Reclining Pigeon. It's kind of a more chill version of regular pigeon. This one is really helpful if you have trouble getting that leg parallel. This is like a great starter to that. Okay, you can release that leg and drop it back down. We'll just bring our knee in for one more hug, one more round of ankle circles, and then we'll lower that to the mat. We'll go to the other side. So let's bring our left knee in for that hug and get some ankle circles on that side. Okay, let's cross that left foot over our right knee. And you're gonna find that one side is gonna be way more flexible than the other. For me, this is my less flexible side. So I'm gonna stay right here, but just remember, if you wanna go to those variations, interlocking behind the thigh or in front of the knee, you're welcome to do that. I'm just going to work my way up to that. The thing about yoga and sports is everything is about progression. Okay, you can bring that left knee in for one more hug and one more round of ankle circles. And then you can bring that foot to the mat. Okay, we're gonna go into our last pose before we go into Savasana. It's my favorite pose, but it's also very silly. So if you're practicing with somebody, try not to make eye contact with them. I'm just kidding. So you can lift your knees up and you're just going to reach through and grab the outside of your foot. You can also grab using your 2 fingers, your big toe. I've broken my toes so many times that's not comfortable for me. So I'm just going to grab the outside of my foot and pull my knees into my armpits. You can stay right here if you like, or if you want to get some movement and massage your lower back into the mat, you can just get a little swaying going. Feels really nice on the hips and the back. Okay, you can release your feet. We're going to extend our arms overhead, stretch our legs out nice and wide, and get one more big stretch before we move into Shavasana. So you can bring your hands behind or beside your hips here. Nice and wide stance. This used to be the worst part of yoga for me. I had a really hard time getting my brain to just shut off and focus on the present moment. So I like to do a little breathing exercise. So I'm going to take us through it really quick, and then I will let you focus on your present moment, your mat, thinking about the gratitude that you feel for giving yourself this time today. So you can close your eyes. I'm going to take you through the box breathing technique. So we're going to inhale through our noses and exhale through our mouths, and we're going to do everything by the count of 4. So we're going to inhale for the count of 4, hold for the count of 4, exhale for the count of 4, and then hold again for the count of 4. I'm going to take you through one round and then let you go at your own pace. Okay. So inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Keep your eyes closed. I'm just going to bring us back gently so you can wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can inhale your right arm overhead, and we're just going to lift our knees up into fetal position, and we'll turn over using our bicep as a pillow. We'll just stay here for a few breaths. You can blink your eyes open and just press yourself up come back into easy pose. Alright, that's that. You did it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm just going to give you a little backstory here. We're not going to say namaste. In my gym, we say os, and it means push, and we kind of use it to mean push together, because martial arts is so often thought of as a solo sport, but it's not. It takes a whole team to get somebody into the ring. I kind of like to think of yoga in the same way, because you're practicing with me and I am practicing with you. So we're gonna bow to each other and say os. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye.